Hello students, welcome to ABHI LAW where law is simplified. This is your professor Dr. Ambarish R Patnigere, and in our lecture series of the Indian Evidence Act, today we are going to explain what is res gestae. Res gestae is a term which is not been defined under Indian Evidence Act, but section 6 talks about res gestae. Before we come to section 6, let's understand what is the English meaning of res gestae. The Latin term res gestae means things done. That is what is the meaning of res gestae in English, or other words, it is called the subject matter. Remember, hearsay evidence is not accepted as an evidence, but the exception is res gestae. What is the assumption? The assumption is the statement made naturally, spontaneously, or without any deliberation during the course of any event carry high grade of credibility, and thus court believes them to be a true. Means very clear it is that every fact is connected with the other fact. Every fact gives the birth to another fact. Every fact has someone or the other as a parent fact. So the facts are all intermingled and connected. Let's understand through one illustration. A, the husband of B, was beating B outside his home. Wife was crying and saying, "Don't kill me, don't kill me." XYZ were watching A beating B, and then B runs home. And after she runs home, they heard what A was doing to B, and B was found dead inside the home. Immediately, whatever X, Y, Z, who were bystander, who saw the A beating his wife B, becomes those witnesses, and their every conversation which has heard by them become the transaction of this same fact which is telling us that A killed B. So the issue between now is whether A has killed B. For that, the transaction form is what X, Y, and Z has heard as a bystander. It becomes a relevant fact. Now let's go to section 6. Relevancy of fact forming part of same transaction. Please remember, relevancy of fact forming part of same transaction. As I told you before in the previous lecture, which facts can become relevant will be given by section 6 to section 55. Now let us see what section 6 says. Facts which, though not in issue, are so connected with a fact in issue as to form a part of same transaction are relevant, whether they occurred at the same time, place, or at different times and places. That means when we need to connect one fact to the another, when we say how one fact can be relevant to the other fact, the fact can be the part of the same transaction when it has occurred at the same time and place, or at sometime different times and different place. Very simple example as I gave you in the previous illustration. X, Y, Z were the bystander. They saw A beating his wife B, and whatever they saw, whatever they heard became the same transaction. It had happened at the same time and at the same place. And the wife B goes inside the house and she's dead. So when the case goes on in the court of law, the witness of X, Y, and Z will be very, very important, because the transaction which they heard was at the same time and same place. Let's look. We give an example of murder, which is an issue. Okay. The intention of murder is the fact which needs to be presented. We should talk about the time and the place, and different times and place. Example is been given. Hearing of the sound of bullet and statement of a cry of an injured person. Cry of the witness who see the murder happening. The cry for help by a person who got attacked. Gestures of dying person. These are the illustration. Basically, same transaction which happened at the same time and same place. Different times and different place. One of the important case law, Hamsa Kunja versus Regina, 1963. A worker beating another worker in the factory, and the another worker goes and tells him, don't beat him, otherwise I will go and tell the union. So the A says, I will see you in the evening, and finally in the evening comes there was a beating between A and C. Now whoever heard this conversation, even though the beating took place at different time and different place, but whoever heard this hearing of that statement becomes the part of same transaction. This is what we talk about section 6. Section 6 talks res gestae in general term, but section 7 to 17 deals with specific terms. Now there are certain important tests when we talk about res gestae. Test of applicability, test of admission, and another test of res gestae. What is test of applicability? Number 1, proximity of time. Number 2, proximity of place, continuity of action, and the community of purpose. Now, test of admission. Was it spontaneous? Was it a relevant identification? Was there an opportunity for error? Was there an concoction of opportunity? When both the opportunity are connected. The last is 3 tests of res gestae. 1, cause and effect. 2, time and place. 3, continuity of purpose and action. There are many illustrations, 4 illustrations which have been given by the case as a illustration in the barrack. You can go through that illustration, but we will study some of the important case laws. One of the important case laws which was not famous was R versus Bedingfield. In this, the victim came out and told in front of the witness, "Oh, and see what Bedingfield has done to me." And this statement, after this statement, the person who claimed this died because the throat was slit. Since the statement came after the throat was slit, this was not considered, and hence this became an infamous case for res gestae. It was overruled, and the meaning of res gestae was widened in Rattan versus R, 1972, where it said that immediately after event 2 are coming under the scope of res gestae. Means statements which are brought immediately after the event are also coming under the term res gestae. Different times and different place. Rattan versus R, husband killed wife and said it was misfire by his gun. But before this incident, there was a telephone received by a telephone operator, and there was a lady calling for help, sobbing with a voice, and in a hysterical tone. She stated that, "Get me the police, otherwise I will be killed." With this statement, which was being heard by the telephone operator, was used to convict the accused, and the accused got convicted. This was the statement given by the victim, but it was heard at some other place, even though this statement was said to be the part of the same transaction, and the accused was convicted. Next Indian case laws we will look at. Uttam Singh versus State of Madhya Pradesh. Father and child were sleeping together, and the accused killed the father. The child took the accused name immediately after such crime. The family gathered. The accused got convicted on such crime which was done by the child immediately after the incidents. Bishna versus State of West Bengal. 2 brothers were attacked, and one of them got killed and the another one got injured and almost unconscious. The mother was the eyewitness of the incident. Two witnesses came to the place of occurrence immediately after the incident had taken place, and weeping mother and the other injured victim briefed the entire plot which had taken place. The witness in turn gave a complete statement as it was in the FIR. Their witness was considered under section 6, and such evidence by them was corroborated as a corroborated evidence. Savaldas versus State, another case law. Husband and wife were fighting inside for a dowry issue, and wife shouted, "Bachao, bachao." Children and the bystander heard as after some time the wife was found dead. This "Bachao, bachao," what was heard by the bystander and the children, was used as the part of same transaction, and it was used to convict the accused. Most relevant in murder, rape and domestic violence, delayed to an extent is accepted. This is what basically is res gestae. I hope so. I have explained you the word res gestae, which is defined, not defined by Indian Evidence Act, but explained through section 6. If you have liked my video and the content, please share, give a like, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe our channel. Your subscription is our motivation. If you want to give a valuable comment, please send your comments to abhilawcomments@gmail.com. Thank you.